What's the one takeaway from your entire business journey? And if there's some advice you would want to give to my viewers.
Do you want to move to Australia?
Did you ever feel insecure about quitting your job and you start feeling left behind? People are growing, I don't know, they're buying houses, they're having parties, and then you're suddenly into the grind and you're working all the time. How was it for you? A few months ago, my brother quit his 9 to 5 back in India. So we invited him to Australia to explore the country with us. And today we are going to a few of my favorite spots in Sydney. I'm also going to put him on a spotlight today because he was able to quit his 9 to 5 with his side gig back in India. And I think that's a huge thing.
So I started my business back in 2023, and very early on in my journey I realized that I need to create good content, write good content and write good email copy. And for that I either needed a copywriter or need to learn copywriting. And that's when I realized that the best person to do this in my life is going to be my brother. And later on, when he started writing copy for me, for my emails and for my content, we realized that copywriting is such a great skill, such a high income skill for freelancers out there in the world. And that's how he decided to start his own copywriting gig. So, as a big sister, I think I have a huge role to play in him achieving financial freedom for himself. So far, we were connecting online. We used to get on Zoom calls for our work, because he was back in India. I was in Australia while I was building my business. And now that he's here, I think it's been a month. We have not only traveled together, we have worked together. And I think it's such a good system right now that I would personally like that he comes here forever. Do you want to move to Australia?
I mean, I'm not sure because I can work online and I can work from anywhere I want. But yeah, life's good.
So far, of all the experiences that you have had in Australia, which one has been the best one?
The best one. What all have we done? We've jet skied, we've snorkeled, we've gone scuba diving, skydiving, kayaking. We've been on helicopters and so many flights. Oh my god. The best one. I don't think I can compare because it's not fair to compare, all of the experiences were so different. The one that I enjoyed the most probably would be kayaking because the weather was pretty awesome and we got to see iconic sites such as the Opera House, and it was the least scary. So I think I enjoyed it the most, but about it being the most fun, I'm not sure if I can compare because thrills were epic on skydiving and roller coaster. We went on the second, third highest probably hyper coaster in the world, and that was crazy. And we jumped out of a flying plane. Scuba diving got me panicky, but after I settled down, it was really fun. So I feel like the whole trip has been like sort of a fever dream, crazy good. So yeah, there's no comparison.
Kayaking was the scariest for me, Hitesh. What was the scariest for you?
For me, it was diving.
Diving!
Yeah, I got panic there.
Oh god. Diving was pretty easy for me. Kayaking was the scariest. I'm surprised that he said kayaking was the most fun because it was the scariest for me.
So we went skydiving the last at the end,
Yeah.
and probably we were already so maxed out on adrenaline shocks that it felt pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Speaking of your online business, what has been the most transitional thing that has happened in this entire journey for you?
I think the biggest shift would be in, first of all, perspective. Because when you are in a 9 to 5, 9 to 9, you are actually trapped in a sort of a mindset which is the hardest to let go of.
Yeah.
Just constantly having to, tell yourself that, you can break that chain. It's possible. It's not something that's readily acceptable when you just speak out the words. And especially so for me the greatest advantage was you already having been through that journey, and I think something that not everybody will relate with is having somebody who's actually traveled the path that you're seeing online, and which feels like it's a dream that not many people or not everybody can achieve. And then there's always this
shifting thought that okay, this happened for you, but it won't happen for me. But having said that, having somebody who's already done it, and even after seeing that okay, you've done it, I actually thought a lot about it, like how maybe it's a fluke, maybe it's something that not everybody can achieve.
Yeah.
But finally getting the courage to just do it and just try it, because I felt like okay, now is my chance, now is the
Yeah.
right time. And especially just telling yourself that if not now, then when, and how much can you stop, how much do you need to delay more to finally see if it is something that is working out for you or not.
But while you were seeing me grow my business, did you feel like you could be doing the same thing? Because what you chose was your strength, which was copywriting, and you were doing copywriting for me, so you knew the business that I was in. So did you feel like okay, I can do the same thing that she's doing?
Yeah, okay. So when you had initially started, what it felt like was you're doing something that's uncharted territory and unexplored niches. And but the thing is that what not everybody realizes is that it doesn't have to be what somebody just looking at, or somebody who's already in that field is doing. It can be something that's your own strength. So as long as you make sure that you're leveraging your skills, and you're applying your skills in whatever path or way this online business world and these courses. And so it's not, I don't think people lack skills. I feel like they lack direction
Yeah.
to be able to implement their skills and find out a path, or that how can you monetize your skills even if it's just a hobby.
By the way, that's the iconic Three Sisters at the Blue Mountains. What's been the best part about starting your online business?
Best part. Um, well, 2025 started with my first ever international trip. It's been roughly about 2 months. I still don't have a return ticket. And the past 2 months have been crazy. I've done at least 10 bucket list adventures in just 2 months alone. And 28 years of my life, I didn't do as many activities as I've done in the past 2 months. So yeah, and all this while I've still been working. We've still been doing all of our daily tasks whenever, however we want to. If I feel like taking a break, I can take it. And if I feel like working from a pretty cafe, or when I get time between these adventures, I'm still able to do that. So yeah, the flexibility, the ability to be able to afford such activities, and the freedom to actually enjoy it without that burden, be it physical, be it mental, be it financial, all of that, it's pretty amazing. But having said that, it's true that while all of this is fun, it doesn't the grind is always there. So that's something you need to.
Yeah, speaking of the grind, like you said, there's a significant grind involved when you're building an online business. And then that too, that you did with a job, and then you were also working with me while building your business. Not a lot of people want to share their side of struggles. Would you mind sharing your struggles in your journey?
Yeah, so speaking of a 9 to 5, I feel like the biggest advantage that people often associate with a 9 to 5 is the stability of a paycheck, right? You know when your next salary is going to get credited, and you know the amount, you know how you can budget everything. But what most people often forget is how they reached that stage. They did some degrees, which is a course that they took, officially government sponsored or government approved or whatever. But the path to an online business, when you actually come down to brass tacks, is exactly the same as when you walk a traditional 9 to 5 path. So you do your degree, and then you hustle and get a job, and then you hustle at your job. um, One advantage is that you have dedicated teams, you have your roles assigned, you have teams where they can manage your work, or you're assigned to manage somebody else's work, but it's broken down into chunks. Uh, Here the major difference between an online business and a 9 to 5 is that you're responsible for a lot of different things all together sometimes. So it's very dynamic. While you have your when you first get your systems set up, after that it's a pretty smooth ride. But getting your systems set up, you don't have a lot of teams you can rely on. You don't have a lot of systems that have been set up already and given down to you as like a coin in your piggy bank. So that's something like just buying that piggy bank before you can put coins in it is in itself a hustle. So I did my 9 to 5, but the thing is ki while it has its advantages, it also has its cons, and those cons often start outweighing when your 9 to 5 becomes a 9 to 9, and that there's no chance of growth unless you somehow transcend those teams in terms of personal bonds and a lot of politics you have to get over, and your paycheck's always fixed. So while it is true that it is stable, it is also very limited. um, Managing both 9 to 5 and an online business was the trickiest, I believe.
Yeah.
But the fact that okay, I might be able to reach a place where I probably won't ever have to look back at a 9 to 5, or I can do something that I can be more focused at. So getting that independence, I think that's a very major part why you might feel like grinding a lot for this basically this goal, this achievement. It's worth it.
Did you have a breaking point at work, like I can't do this for the rest of my life, or did you just see an opportunity and you were like, no, I need to explore it?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, that's exactly what happened. A lot of things happened personally also, but work-wise also. I was doing a lot more work than I was being paid for, and even despite having asked them for it, so my roles and responsibilities were unofficially hiked. My salary was officially the same. So I think that was the most significant factor. It wasn't like I was lacking in efforts. It wasn't like I wasn't skilled or talented enough. All that it boiled down to was that the people around me, they're tied to a system where they cannot, even if they want to, they cannot let me succeed to a point where I can grow with an online business. So the realization that that probably it won't happen when I'm working for somebody else, when I'm tied to a system that's very bound and confined, and that's also very profitable for only a very set uh, number of people. I think, yes, I did have a breaking point. So all of these realizations hit me.
That's a very strong realization if you think about it. That people won't let you get to that point of your full potential.
I'm obviously getting all the answers that I wanted from his perspective as a business owner, but now that I'm listening to him as my little brother who has started his online job, I'm glad he did, because going to work and feeling that you have so much more to do in life and you're not able to do it because of whatever reasons, that's not a nice feeling. And if you have an option to do whatever in life that gives you some happiness, gives you the freedom, gives you that choice of living your life, I think it's incredible. So I'm absolutely proud of you for doing that. Okay, so this is the cafe that I was talking about. Oh, I have a question. Did you ever have a Karen as your client?
No, thankfully not. Yeah, I don't think so. Every one of my clients was very sweet.
So this is probably the cutest cafe I've ever seen in my life. Look how cute is this.
So amazing. I do have a question though. How come everybody is always this happy in Australia? Dude, everybody's fine. Everybody's like, oh, how are you? How's your day?
Did you ever feel insecure about quitting your job?
I mean, obviously, there's this bit of hesitation because you're quitting a stable paycheck, not just your job, not just your work. But as long as you learn the skills and you know that you can implement them in the right way, that will give you the confidence. Plus, with me, what happened was I didn't quit right away. I had to just make sure that this is something that's sustainable. This is something that can potentially replace my 9 to 5. And so, while I was still employed in a 9 to 5 system, I gave this a go, and that's how I transitioned. So, of course, initially it was a bit slow, and it took a lot of grind because it's not easy having to manage your hours in a way where you're initially sacrificing a little bit of sleep, you're sacrificing a lot of things that you do to relax and have fun outside of your 9 to 5. So I think that initial grind, of course, it was a little tricky, but once the money started pouring in, of course, it gets a lot better than.
And how did you manage your finances while you were transitioning? Were there days when you felt like, okay, I'd rather get another job instead of, having that financial crunch?
Another job as in another job alongside my existing job.
No, like you just switched to
Maybe
another
switch to
job with a better pay.
I mean, like I feel like that is what something everybody who is employed in 9 to 5, vast majority of the people, they feel this way that okay, I can hop jobs, but it's not that easy. The market is very competitive, and you need to make sure that you're getting employment with a very good firm. It's not just good money, but it's good people. And so in that way, and plus that hike is never a guarantee. Plus the kind of work that they'll make you do, the kind of politics that you'll get into, the kind of atmosphere that you'll get into, there's no certainty in that. Whereas when you are shifting to an online business, for me, what happened was because I was working a 9 to 5 while I gave this a go. So finances for me were not that big of a challenge, thankfully. And I only quit my job once I was confident that okay, this is something that is sustainable on a long term, and this is something that that can potentially earn me more money than switching jobs every 2 years, or even realistically, even if every year it's the pay hike isn't that great, because it also comes attached with a lot of strings. It comes attached with a lot of uncertainties, in the sense that what if your colleagues are some people that you don't like, or you have to shift places, and then you have to find a new house, you have to find a lot of things that have to align for you to finally feel like okay, this was a smart move. Whereas obviously work wise the hustle is definitely harder initially, but when coupled with a lot of these flexibilities and perks, it stands out. There's no question.
It makes sense, right? It's like the reward that you've been waiting for, and when you finally reach that point, you're like, it was worth it.
And see, what something that happens, something that's I feel like not as much talked about, is that after a point when you start speaking in this way, like how we're having this casual conversation in our heads, probably it's very casual, but when you listen to it as a third person, you feel like okay, this is such a dreamy escape, and this is something that that is unachievable, or something that that's too unrealistic. Whereas I don't know how many times I need to repeat this for you to understand that it's not. It's very achievable. The same things that you're doing at a 9 to 5 are the things that you need to do here. You need to learn skills, you need to upskill yourself, and you need to start implementing it. And once you start doing it for yourself instead of somebody else, then obviously you're gonna get the rewards instead of that someone else.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a 9 to 5 also is somebody's business, and they're delegating their work and they're paying you for it. So essentially the skills are the same. Initially, as a business owner, you have to do all the work yourself, because if you have the money, go ahead, hire people. But if you don't, you gotta learn those skills and do the work. And eventually, it gets to a point where you can hire people, hire freelancers, and it does become easier. Absolutely.
And I don't think it's about security. I think it's about fear, because a 9 to 5 is almost as secure as your own online business. It's just that with your own business, when you're liable, when you're accountable, when you're in charge of a lot of things, that's where the fear stems from, and that's when you hesitate to step into it. So I think, like, as long as you are comfortable with the fear, and you know that you have to walk hand in hand with it and then finally get over it after a point, I feel like the security, it's even better than a traditional 9 to 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like one of the most underrated fun parts of this online space is that I'm in charge of the content, so I get to enjoy all of this while shooting it all. So that's definitely another major plus.
And these are the two bloggers of my life, and this is how life looks like when you have content creators in your entire house. Cheers! We literally drove 1 hour to show him this beautiful cafe, and this guy is working right now. Which brings me to the point that don't you think you have to work a lot of odd hours to, I mean, to run this business, which is, I mean, I've heard that a businessman, I've witnessed it myself, that a business person is never on vacation. What do you think about that?
Um, well, if I have to be honest about it, it is true. You have to work a lot of odd hours. But then, if I'm working 2 odd hours every day and have the rest of the day to myself, that's better than working 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours for somebody else. So I feel like that is also another advantage. Plus, the thing is, when you start loving all the aspects of this job that you're doing, your own business, then those odd hours, they don't really bug you because you're making money and you're enjoying the work that you're doing. So it's fine as long as you're happy with it. I feel like that's definitely a plus point. Plus, um, how is it not a vacation if I'm sitting here in a pretty cafe, eating whatever I want, visiting places that people only dream of visiting, and getting to do the work?
Damn right. And now we are walking up to probably one of my favorite viewpoints in Sydney. So that's the Three Sisters. This is a magical view, as I would call it. I think it's so peaceful. I love coming here.
This is the spot where we'd come for stargazing as well, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So not exactly this place, but
yeah. But the Blue Mountains.
I wish my friends were here to enjoy this view.
Do your friends even know that you've quit your job and you have a business and you're working on something?
They do now. They didn't at the very start, but then yeah, after a while I did tell them because I had this plan. Like I got into it with the thought that I have to quit my 9 to 5 and I have to build it, so that it's not only sustainable but also it's quick, and it's something that can just make sure that I get that break from 9 to 5, and if possible a forever one.
So did you get the support that you were looking for? Because a lot of people feel that friends and family often get jealous. But do you think that, or did you ever feel behind? Because when you're building that business, there's a period of struggle and you feel like you have to say no to a lot of plans and you start feeling left behind. People are growing, I don't know, they're buying houses, they're having parties, and then you're suddenly into the grind and you're working all the time. How was it for you?
I don't know about jealousy because see, when I started, I was definitely not earning probably as well as they were. Um, and I still had my 9 to 5. So I don't think at that point the monetary aspect of it was something that these people even considered. They were
Yeah.
more focused on the stability. So all of our discussions, even if there were some hesitations from their end, they were similar to the hesitations that I had when I started, or before I started rather. So it's more about having those conversations where they're also because everything is very new. It's something, and especially in a country like India, freelancing or odd jobs, they're not as mainstream. There's a lot of competition even in the job space. So doing something so out of the ordinary, that is definitely scary for everybody involved, even if it's just your well-wishers and friends
Yeah.
and family.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there have been times where I had to prioritize my work. So just for a very simple example, I just had to shoot a video, so I had to make sure that the surroundings were obviously peaceful. So then those were the days where I had to prioritize waking up early or staying up late till night. So that meant obviously resting in the days, and whenever people used to meet up, I used to be busy editing videos or writing my scripts and writing all of these marketing campaigns and content strategizing and a lot of these things. So yeah, there have been times where I had to sacrifice a little bit, but look at me now. I've been here for months. So it's
Bragging.
no. It is sort of a braggable moment that I'm able to, enjoy this view without having to worry about, oh, I need to get back to my 9 to 5, or I need to restart my work.
And that was the end of our epic day. First of all, thanks to our cameraman and the guy who drove us all the way to the Blue Mountains. How do you feel?
Amazing. It was such a lovely day.
Yeah, I think the weather was great. The location is absolutely epic. I really love it. But then I really want to ask this final question to you. What's the one takeaway from your entire business journey? And if there's some advice you would want to give to my viewers?
So once you do get into it, once you get the hang of what you need to do and you know the path, and you just start walking, then you find out that it's just one step after the other, and there is risk. So I understand where the fear stems from, because it happened with me, and but compared to a lot of other businesses, I feel like the risk is very low and the rewards are very high.
Yeah.
And another thing, it's I don't think it's a leap of faith. It's not a leap of faith, I would say, because see, if you've learned the skills and you start applying it, you are definitely gonna get the results. Maybe it'll be a little slow for you, maybe it'll come a little early. There's no guarantee, definitely. But more than it being a leap of faith, I think it's a leap of confidence. So as long as you learn the skills and you start applying them, and you're confident enough to, like, just take it one step at a time, you're going to see the results for yourself.
Wow, I think that is a great takeaway. It's not a leap of faith, it's a leap of confidence. And I really resonated with this. This was absolutely epic. I got to interview my little brother as a business owner. And what a fun day we had. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.